What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Common Sense and Logic.
Welcome back, YouTube. I'm Caesar.
I'm Ronnie. Glad you guys are here again.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Hopefully you guys are liking this videos, man. Like I said, we're here trying to do this. We're not here to provide you any information, misinformation, BS. You already have that. We have that. We're trying to talk about common sense and logic. What makes sense with all the stuff that we're hearing in the news.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, definitely. That's what we usually talk about.
Yep. Well, I hope you had a great weekend, man.
Yeah, man, it was fun. Hot weekend, but a lot of fun. As
All right.
usual.
So, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, let's go back in time, man. Let's go back in time when COVID hit. See if everybody remembers
COVID.
COVID.
All right, all right. Yeah, you've been wanting to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that's a good topic, man. It's something we never experienced before prior to it hitting, you know? I think the Spanish flu had hit, but that was like, what, I don't even know the dates, early 1900s?
Early 1900s.
1911, 1920, I don't know.
Very early.
But that's the last time that something like that, a pandemic had hit. So we had no clue what it was till it hit.
Yeah.
But a lot has been learned from it. A lot has come out, so we're going to talk about that.
Well, let's talk about it, man, because there is a lot of misinformation in there and a lot of common sense and logic that a lot of people didn't use at all, man.
Yeah, well, let's
break it down.
Yeah, well, let's go back first. The first experiences of how it happened. I mean, the first time I heard about it, honestly, was just walking into a store and seeing everybody with masks, and I had no clue what was going on.
Okay.
I'm like, what? I just told myself, what's going on here? Why is everybody wearing masks? I'm like the only one not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It must have been like probably the first or second day that it was, you know, that they put it out that everybody needed. So I wasn't aware of that. You know, I didn't know what was going on.
Well,
prior to that, the only thing I had seen prior to that was like a meme on Instagram of a Mexican dude with a big sombrero holding a Corona, and it said coronavirus. So that's the first time I had heard of.
Yeah, I saw that.
Of whatever that was, you know, prior to even knowing what it was. So it was obviously making light of the situation, like a joke, a meme.
Yeah.
So I didn't think much of it, and then the next thing, I don't know if it was probably a week later or whatever, is when I walked into the store and everybody's wearing masks, and I'm like, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah. So I was aware of it because I was watching the news.
Yeah.
As you all
and
know.
that's something I don't do.
Yeah, you don't do that. He said it. I've said it where I do watch the news only to be informed of whatever it is that other people are talking about.
Yeah. I don't like to have my brain rotted, so that's why I don't watch the news. Everything's depressing, negative, dying, killing, stabbings, car crash, traffic. No way, not for wars, not for me.
Yeah.
News is not for me.
Yeah, so that's how I became aware of it. And then at first, you know, I mean, I'm a human being, right? So I kind of thought about it, and I was like, what is this, man?
Yeah.
But I think it was like maybe 4 days in.
Okay.
When, you know, I was working at the office, and a lot of people were talking about it. And people were wearing their mask and keeping the distance.
Yeah.
And a lot of fear in people and all that. And so I started paying more close attention to it, and my common sense right there and then, man, said, nope, don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Don't believe this. Don't believe what they're telling you on the news.
So it kicked in right away.
It kicked in right away. I don't know why. It just didn't. It was 4 days in.
Yeah.
And I wasn't seeing whatever they were saying on the news that was a killer virus. You know what I mean?
Right. You weren't seeing it.
So I was expecting people to be dropping dead left and right.
Right. Right.
So, you know, I didn't see that, man, if you be honest with you. And then I was like, let me just wait a minute. Let's see what's going on with this.
Yeah. That makes sense. Me, I mean, yeah, you know, I saw people wearing masks, and they started saying that you couldn't walk into places without a mask. So I just went with the flow, whatever. I wasn't too concerned about dying or anything like that, but, you know, just did it just because everybody, I figured that's what they're enforcing now. That's fine, whatever. It didn't make sense, you know, but yeah, it is what it is.
And then as the news went on, you know, I started noticing that the people on the news that were saying, even the state leaders, city leaders, were asking us to do certain things, but they weren't doing them.
Okay, and this is how long into it?
I would say like maybe a week or so, or
so
maybe
pretty,
over a week, yeah. Because it was constantly on the news.
Pretty recent.
Every day they were talking about it.
Pandemic, right?
And what I was noticing was them on TV, live TV, surrounded by a few other people, leaders. Yeah. Obviously, you know, the cities were talking about it, and some of them weren't really wearing their mask, and they weren't really keeping their distance. So that made me wonder, you know, like.
Well, the whole distance just doesn't make sense, really.
Right.
Because they're telling you to keep your distance 6 feet, but what about when the person walks right next to you to get into that spot where it just doesn't make sense? They have to walk by you to get 6 feet away from you. So all that, you know, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So fast forward to like maybe a month in or whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, that's when you started seeing all that mess, right?
Yeah. Well, at first, you know, everybody obviously didn't know what was going on.
Right. Yeah,
it was something that we had never seen. So the whole world had shut down, at least here in our, you know, in the U.S. I don't know how the other countries were. I'm sure they were probably even worse. I think it hit other countries first or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, people don't know what's going on. So you know, it was a little just confusion and like, what is all this all about? So yeah, we stayed home. All my jobs were my appointments were canceled, so I really couldn't do any work. Yeah. For the first 2 weeks, I think is what it was, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of fear, and like I said, I was working at the office, and I was one of the few that I was in. You know, they asked me to wear a mask, and I said, no, I'm not wearing that. Yeah. And so they kind of made me to, okay, listen, you're not gonna wear your mask when you're at your station, but when you get up to go elsewhere and you're going to get close to other people, we need you to wear that mask. So for the job security reasons, I did that. Okay. You know, I didn't really want to do that. And then when I would go out to lunch, I was pretty much the only one, you know what I mean, without the mask and going out about my business, trying to get lunch and all that. And yeah, I saw everybody else, you know, with their mask and keeping their distance and all that. And
so they didn't shut down the office completely where you're at?
At first they didn't. A lot of people did stay home on their own. They started, you know, calling in, complaining that, you know, they didn't want to go into work and, you know, the whole fear factor about being around other people. So yeah, I mean, that happened. And then eventually the business where I used to work at, they closed down in a sense where they made it remote. Everybody was working.
How far into it when they closed it out?
I can't remember anymore, man. I would probably say like a month or two in.
But from what I remember, like March 17th, everything closed down. I didn't know offices were still open. I heard everything was shut down. Nobody could work.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, so it might have been earlier. Like I said, I wasn't really too into it. You know what I mean? Like I was more into like, why are people wearing their masks? Why are they wearing gloves? Why are they in a bubble? Like, you know what I mean? So I lost track of time of how the events went. Right. But yeah, man, I was one of the ones that I'm sorry, but I was making fun of people, you know, driving their car all by themselves with the windows rolled up and a mask on. And,
that's where the common sense kicks in. Like, well, if you're alone in your car, why are you wearing a mask? You know, like you see people driving, like, what's going on here? Yeah. And then they're trying to scare you. There's a lot of fear factor going into it, where they're trying to scare you. And you know, if you walk out, you still got to wear a mask. Like, if you're walking out alone with nobody around, why are you going to be wearing a mask? Right. You know, it's like weird. I'm walking my dogs and I see people driving with a mask in their car by themselves. It just didn't make sense. It was like, this is nonsense. You know, like you're walking out outside with everybody was inside their homes. You know? Nobody wanted to go out, whatever. Right. But if you're out there alone, I'm walking my dogs, why do I have to wear a mask? You know? Yeah. Like,
and if they're wearing a mask, then they were protecting themselves, right? They were protecting themselves. So, and in a sense, they were protecting you.
They were saying it was everyone,
yeah. So, yeah, a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me. So, like I said, I was one of the few that, you know, people were asking me to wear it and telling me to do it and having arguments, and I had to explain myself to them as to why not. And eventually got to the point where I was just telling people, hey, you know what, man, I don't know how far in. Yeah. But I took it like it was something fake, if you want to call it that. I mean, at least
sort of control.
At least that's what I called it, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, like I told you guys before, I'm a Christian guy, and the church that I go to, they closed down, but they closed down like maybe for about 2 weeks, I think, maybe 3 tops. And as you all know, as Christian people, we pay attention to everything that's going on, but for the most part, my pastor saw what I saw, I guess, and whatever the Bible says, and he reopened. There was a lot of people that didn't go to church at the time for whatever the reasons are, like everybody else, fear. But again, I was going to church unmasked. We weren't asked. The pastor said, if you want to come to service, wear your mask. You don't have to, but if that makes you comfortable, then go ahead and do it.
Right.
So,
right.
Some people did.
It wasn't mandatory.
It wasn't mandatory like everything else was.
Yeah.
But eventually got to the point where people were getting caught, the state leaders and city leaders were getting caught going out to parties without a mask. Socializing and something that we were told not to do.
The whole summer.
Like we were told no birthdays, right? No barbecues.
No parties,
and remember no graduations either.
Yeah.
They had to do like a drive-by
graduation.
Yeah. It was a lot of nonsense, dude. It was madness. It was crazy.
After a while, it got silly. Like, come on, man. Like months and months into it, then you're like, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
What's really going on? It's like, come on, man. We're like several months into it, and we still can't do anything,
Yeah, I mean, I was making fun of people, and I was, I wasn't teasing people, but I was asking, like legitimate questions, right? Like when I went to the store, and they would have to wipe down everything, like after every customer, they would have to wipe down the counter and the little keypad. And I'm like, okay, so you disinfected all that, but what about my money? How are you gonna disinfect that? And it was just a lot of silliness.
That's when the bags started coming in. Remember where they started selling you bags? Prior to that, they never sold bags. So where they started selling you bags for 10 cents or whatever, because they didn't want you. I forgot what it was, but whatever. They started selling you bags, and that's still today.
Okay.
That stuck around, I guess.
I thought it was something else. Like I said, I really wasn't paying attention to all that, but I think it was something else. Maybe I'm wrong. Something to do with plastic. Not using all of it. Anyways. But yeah, there was a lot of silliness. One of the things that I was making fun of, I was like, okay, so you're wiping everything down, but what about all the products you have on the shelf? Because I have the habit of when I go shopping, right? You grab stuff, you read it, put it back. You might grab another one, but nobody was disinfecting all that, dude.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it was just hilarious. Man.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty dumb.
And then the cell phones, remember?
Yeah.
People were with gloves, with the mask, and when their little hand sanitizer or whatnot. But I would never see people disinfecting their phones. And that thing has like the most
it's everywhere.
Contaminated thing in the world, man. Yeah. Think about it. Your phone, you put that on your face, that has a lot of freaking stuff on that, man. So
it got silly.
It got silly.
It got silly months and months. They kept closing stuff down, and it got ridiculous, man. I mean,
too much.
They were counting the deaths and all that, so I don't know too much into that, but
I don't
know all about that.
I spoke to people that actually had someone die of COVID, right? And when they would hear me talk about it, they were thinking that I was like, ignorant about it and unsensitive, because they would actually tell me, hey, wait, how come you don't believe in this thing? And I had a family member or a friend that died. And my question to them was like, well, how do you know it was COVID?
Right.
And of course, their answer was, the doctor said, the hospital said. Well, okay, then how are you going to challenge that? You have to go by what they were telling you, right?
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean, and that wasn't necessarily the truth, that they die out of COVID. Because as we all know, now, hopefully, everybody knows that I don't
think everybody knows.
All those things were rigged.
Yeah.
If you want to believe it or not, I'm sorry. They were rigged. Hospitals, doctors, everybody, they were getting paid to do that. To tag them. Even if you died out of anything else, they were getting paid to tag them as COVID. It was a whole mess, dude. Unbelievable thing, that happened. And a lot of people die. And, then came the vaccines, and more people started dying and getting even more worse health problems.
Yeah.
And it looks like a lot of people weren't using their common sense and logic to all that.
Yeah, they rushed that vaccine out, and yeah, that's something I don't feel comfortable with. You know, if it really hasn't a proven history of working, they just rushed it out. Why should I take that? You know?
Yeah. I mean, you guys see the commercials, right, about it. Almost every medication that's ever come out.
Yeah.
Years later, they find out all the bad effects that it has.
And there's lawsuits.
And there's a lot of lawsuits. And here's your other common sense. If they have these humongous lawsuits, how come those things are still on the shelf?
Yeah.
How come they're still selling them? Well, use your marbles, man. Use your brain. They're all together. They're all in cahoots together.
Big Pharma.
The Big Pharma. That's what it's called. And they make a lot of money out of that. So they're going to keep it going. They got a lot of money. They have enough money to pay out people.
The only way they make money is if they keep us sick, man. If they keep us sick, that's how they make the money. You know, we buy their product and their medicine or whatever they're selling.
Another thing was for me was when you had all these CDC, is that what it's called?
Something like that. I remember something like that, yeah.
What was it, CDC? Yeah. You know, those people that...
the leaders you're talking about.
Yeah, the leaders, but they have that one
Official.
agency, geez, I can't come up with it right now. But anyways, they had all these people, the doctors come out saying that you have to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
People are dying, people are getting sick, putting more fear out there.
Oh, yeah.
But then when other doctors came out, you know, with other information that they had that was more accurate, they would never show that.
Right.
They kept them in the darkness. They didn't want people to hear that side. And you know, you had to like question that. Why? At least let me hear what they have to say versus your story only, right?
Your argument, yeah. Your side of the story, correct.
But, you know, the media, like I'm keep telling you guys, they're all in it too, to this whole one world government that they're trying to come up with, maybe. They're all together, so obviously they were showing that 24/7.
Yeah.
And showing it over and over and over again. And when you flip the channels, you guys have to question yourself. If that's not script, it's like they all get the same memo, right?
Right.
Because word by word, they all say the same thing.
Right.
And how's that possible? It shouldn't work that way.
Yeah, that's where you have to use your common sense and logic to figure that out. Yeah, why are they all saying the same thing? You know?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to figure it out for other people. I'm saying figure it out for yourself. Because look, people like me and him that were wearing the mask and not getting vaccinated, we were being called names, right? And I know a few personal friends that I had around me. We were arguing about this, and they were like, "You're an idiot. You're a dumbass." You know, name calling me. And I was like, just wait a minute, man. Later on, you're going to thank me for what I'm doing right now. Because it was like a fight that we had going on. The people that didn't want to get masked up and vaccinated versus the people that were.
Yeah.
And we, the ones that didn't want to do that, we're practically fighting for freedom, for everybody else's freedom.
Right.
How does that make sense? Because it was like everybody was, you know, being put in line, right? On check, like little sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And us that didn't want to follow through with it, if we would have fallen for that and gone with you guys, then guess what would have happened?
If everybody would have done it, yeah.
Everybody would have been on their check, right?
Yeah.
And then your freedom is done. It would have been taken over already.
Yeah. They were definitely trying to control people, you know, by doing that. But some people weren't buying it.
Yeah, you know, it was control. And then when you see that COVID 24/7 on the TV, fear is very, very strong, and it manipulates your mind. It actually could control your mind and soul and spirit. When you think about fear, man, it's a big thing, and I think that's why they were playing that over and over on TV.
Yeah.
Just putting that fear, kind of like they're doing right now with the immigration.
That's
you know
how they're able to control you, man, by putting that fear into you, you know?
That's exactly how they do it, I think, you know what I mean? But like I said, you know, there was a lot of us. We were going out to Orange County, right?
Yeah, we started
Freedom Country over there.
Oh yeah, a year later, you're like wondering why are we still locked down? You know, like come on, man.
Yeah, so you know we're going to places like that where you know nobody was wearing a mask, nobody was vaccinated. Well, a lot of people that I talked to, they weren't vaccinated, and not once did I get sick out of that. I mean, look, I got the cold, the common cold. I look, COVID did not exist for me. Okay, plain and simple. You guys want to believe it? That's fine. But my common sense and logic says no. And I did get sick to where it kind of felt different, but I think that fear was already playing out in my own head. And then secondly, look, as we progress in life, we get older, our minds and immune system, they tend to start going down.
Yep.
So everything that you got when you were 5, 10, 15 years old, your immune system was, full force fighting that off. Right. But now that we're getting older, especially people like, 70, 80, their immune system, man, it's really not there. So of course they were getting sick.
Yeah, and then people with underlying conditions where
that too. Yeah.
Where they were sick with the other stuff.
Precondition to COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they even said it too. You know what I mean? The news and the city leaders and state leaders, they were saying that people with overweight, they were more
susceptible to the virus.
Exactly. Why would they say that? Because when you went to the hospital and you got sick from the common cold, and you had this other sickness, they would put them together and come out that you're COVID and start giving you all kinds of, medicine and vaccines and all that. So I think, we all heard it, right? That's how people died. So they were changing death certificates too. They were manipulating all that information on them. So I think the hospitals and doctors, they were getting some sort of kickback. Yeah, they were. Yeah. So if it was such a killer virus, then why would they have to go through all that trouble or of lying, doing all these fabrications on medical records, man? That's huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad it's over. Although it's not really completely over because I do see some commercials still promoting COVID.
Yeah.
And asking people to get vaccinated. And look, man, if you guys want to follow that, go ahead and do it. If you're an adult, go ahead and do it.
You're making
Get as many as you want. But if you have kids, I plead with you right now, man, do not force your kids, your babies to get that. You're going to regret that years down the road. Protect your kids. You people that have kids, you're the ones that should really, really pay attention to everything that's going on right now. Like I said, if you're an adult and you don't care about yourself, then that's fine,
Right. So what do you guys think out there about COVID? What was your experiences? What's your thoughts? Have you guys seen the truth now? Let us know.
Yeah, and don't come out saying that, that you lost someone to COVID, because with all due respect, I'm not going to believe that. Even if you probably had the death certificate with that on it, I still wouldn't believe it, because 100% I don't believe in that.
Right, yeah, I mean, yeah. I've had relatives or whatever, friends that did die of COVID, but what the real reason was, who knows, like you said. The death certificates were manipulated, they could have had underlying conditions and what have you. I'm not sure if anybody, a full-blown, 100% healthy person died of COVID. I highly doubt it,
Yeah, again, if you had someone that died of that were tied with that, it's going to be kind of hard to dispute that, because they wrote it on the death certificate, right? The doctors did that, so I don't know what to tell you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and what do we know? We're not doctors, but we use our common sense and
question. So you need to question, what did they have before that? What was their health condition before that? Or even during when they passed away?
Yeah.
Put those two together.
Like they went into the hospital, who knows what they were giving them,
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of medication they were giving them to probably even make them worse.
It's hard to dispute something that, especially if you're one of those persons that believes that everything that the government tells you, then it's hard to dispute that, right?
You can't fight those people.
Right. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about last time with if we've been to the moon, right?
Yeah.
The government said we've been to the moon, so how do you dispute that? You have to use your common sense and logic to kind of see and make sense whether or not we've been to the moon. Yeah. I said no, regardless of what they said, because my common sense and logic says no. Go back to that video and listen to it and maybe agree or disagree with me.
Yeah, we all got to make our own decisions, you know, just based on what you see, what makes sense to you. Obviously, we're not the government, we're not the officials. We have to go off what they say, but you can question it and does it make sense, you know?
Yeah. Don't believe everything you hear, man, especially on the news. Do not believe everything you hear. You have to see it, use your common sense and logic, make sense of it. All this nonsense, you could make sense of it if you use your common sense and logic.
They are trying to control you, man. The way to see it is just turn the news on. It's nothing but fear. They're just instilling fear in you, man. That's right in your face.
Again, we're seeing that right now. Yeah. Not to get off topic, but we see that right now with immigration, right?
Yeah.
They keep saying and showing people getting arrested and deported, and to make it seem like it's everyone out there. And I keep telling you guys, I drive a lot around.
Me too. I don't see it out there.
I go to areas where there's a lot of people that I myself, as a Latino, know that they may be here not too long ago. And they're living their life. Nobody's out there grabbing them.
Yeah. The only reason you see it is because somebody caught it on video, that specific instance, and it just seems like it's everywhere, but it's not. Yeah, it's overblown. Everything's blown out of proportion. They exaggerate. They try to control you with fear.
Look, God works in mysterious ways. He maybe used that COVID thing to kind of help us open our eyes to all this mess. As a Christian guy, I'm not going to get too deep into it. I might later on. But there's a lot more things coming out that are going to be way worse than these things. And if you guys don't get used to using your common sense and logic, you guys are going to fall for everything that they're going to give you, man.
Yeah. What do you guys think, man? Let us know. Give us some feedback. I think that's pretty much it as far as our experiences and what we think about, well, you know, the virus, COVID, what happened, you know? What do you guys think? Let us know.
Let us know. Please don't forget to give us a like, subscribe. We're going to be making these every week.
Thank you guys. Tune in. Let us know what else you guys want to hear, what you want us to talk about, and we'll do our best to do it.
Yes, sir. Anything you guys want to talk about, we won't stand down.
Yep.
Bring it.
Yeah, it could be current events, hot topics, or it could be things from the past. You know, whatever involves using your common sense and logic, we're open to talk about it.
Politics, religion, cooking, sports, eating food, sports.
Yeah, food.
Anything you could think of.
Pets, whatever.
Yeah.
Marketing, advertising, like last Sydney Sweeney episode.
We got a video on that. Check it out.
Yeah, let us know. Check that one out. That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. All right, folks. That's it for today, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Check it out. Thank you guys for tuning in to Common Sense and Logic. I'm Caesar.
That's right. Common sense and logic. If you have it,
use it.
If you don't, learn how to use it.
If not, we'll help you out.
That's right. Thank you so much.
All right. See you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.